Chainsaws plus fingers equals what you'd think would be a bloody mess, but it actually equates to the story Chainsaw Fingers by Paul Crenshaw in the book Best for Non-Required Reading. This story oozes creativity, symbolism, and while doing both of these things in the story, it talks about issues with today's veterans. Creativeness is the key to getting people to read your stories. Just the title, Chainsaw Fingers, gets your mind going, like, what could this be about? At least when I read it, that's what I was thinking. The creativeness of the story is what I was thinking. Like, how did he think of chainsaws for fingers? Why wasn't it umbrellas? Why wasn't it something else? And then I also really thought about how this kind of brings our society into thinking about these other futures. Because we think about the future a lot, like flying cars and all these inventions that we know we aren't going to be around for, but it just gets our mind going, like, what if this is in the future? And it's just kind of how we pass our time. And I really enjoyed, half not enjoyed, the little kids, because they were creepy AF. Like, they scared me. And kids, like, especially in like American Horror Story and horror movies, that's what gets people. That's why they're scared. And I really thought that the symbolism of the kids really did help the story. And speaking of symbolism, the story is filled with them. Symbolism is what makes a book really great, because you can go back in and you can see all these different symbols that you've never seen before. Because when you first read it, you're just reading it to get it over with. You're like, it's the surface. But then if you read it the second time and you actually go back in, you find all these hidden little gems that you never really thought about. And these symbols are actually inspired by true events. And I looked up kind of like what veterans go through. And in my mind, it's kind of like the government wants you to go fight. Go fight, yeah, we'll give you all these benefits, it's great, you fight for your country. So you go out there, you fight, you do your hardest, you come back, maybe not all together, and they're like, hey, we welcome you back. And then maybe for like the first year or so, and then they just discard you because they're just on to some newer, healthier, younger people going out. And then as you get older, you lose those benefits. And so from CNN, what I looked up, was that as many as 7,000 veterans were on a backlog list for waiting too long for colonoscopies and other procedures that they really needed in order to live. In VA faculties in Columbia, South Carolina, and Georgia. And this is happening everywhere. I read about one guy who basically died because they just told him, oh, you're fine, you got rectal bleeding, it's good, just they're hemorrhoids, you're fine. And he ended up dying, and he kept telling them, something's really wrong with me, like, I need help. But there's just not enough capacity in the hospitals nowadays to keep these people who fought for us and who we should actually really be taking care of. Chainsaws for Fingers really seems like an odd concept for a story, but the creativeness is one that, the human curiosity is for. Once you read it, you'll find all kinds of symbolism and realize that those creepy kids are actually symbols for something. And I recommend this book to someone who has a family member who's suffering from PTSD, or someone who just really wants a good creative book to read.